My husband doesn't listen to me enough. This person is such a compassionate man. This perfect notion I had is not as perfect as I thought it was. Hey guys, welcome back. If you are new here and you are seeing my face for the first time, my name is Nneoma Odidi and I put out content surrounding faith, love, marriage, relationships and general life. So please don't hesitate to subscribe if you end up liking this video or if you like what you've seen so far on my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. That intro was not good. I've done it so many times, but please guys, just pardon it, okay? So I just want to see, like, how are you guys doing? I don't like to talk about politics on this channel. Like, it's not my intention to talk about politics, but just how are you doing? How are you faring? How has been your life, like, this past few weeks? I hope that you're doing fine anyway. So, basically, for today's video, we're going to be having a candid conversation, an honest conversation, okay? A heart-to-heart talk. I'm going to be talking from a woman's perspective because I'm a woman. So we're going to be talking about handing attraction to the opposite sex. In this case, handing attraction to other men who are not your spouse or who are not your husband, because that happens, okay? Let's be real, let's be honest. It's possible to take note of someone. It's possible to maybe see someone who is dressed a certain way and you take note of them. I'm like, okay. Or you see a handsome man, you know, a physically appealing man, or you have a stimulating conversation, you know, with an intelligent person, an intelligent man. Now, I believe that those moments in themselves are not wrong. It doesn't mean that, oh, you are a cheater or you are the wickedest person in the world. I don't believe that. I think that is normal. It's a normal part of life. Feelings are not the problem. Emotions are not the problem. But how we respond to these emotions, how we react to them, that's what matters. So the first thing that I'm going to be talking about is identify moments of weakness in your marriage. The times that you are most likely to find someone else attractive or appealing are times when maybe either you just had a disagreement or a misunderstanding with your partner, you know, or maybe you feel like one aspect of your need is not being fulfilled as much as you would like it to be fulfilled. So that is the perfect opportunity that the devil tries to now creep into your relationship. So be able to identify moments of weakness in your marriage and then take steps, work on how you plan to combat that. So for example, if it's that as a woman you feel that your emotional needs are not being met by your spouse, maybe, oh, he doesn't listen to me as much as I like. This is an example, please. Maybe you're like, oh, he doesn't listen to me as much as I'd like him to listen to me. Identify that and then come up with your action step. Okay, how do I handle this in such a manner that it doesn't drive me to do something else? If you understand, it doesn't drive me to the arms of another man, someone who constantly listens to me. So for you, that could be talking to your partner about it, you know, bringing it up in conversation, you know, in a polite manner, in a very respectable manner, you know, communicating your needs. Another moment of weakness can be an argument. If, okay, an argument is most likely to make you find someone else appealing, then come up, okay, what will be my action step? It could be, okay, I will do my best to ensure that I settle this argument. There's no specific time frame, okay, but try to keep it short. It could be like, oh, I'm going to put in my best effort to make sure that we settle, you know, or while we are having a disagreement, I'm not going to talk to another man or want to pour out to another man or something. Or your own action step could be prayer. Maybe you'll be like, you know what, I've noticed that this happens during so and so period, so I'm going to combat it with prayer. Another thing I want to say is that what I've observed is that attraction outside of marriage tends to stem from the perceived notion that your object of attraction is the complete embodiment of what you are missing out on. Referring back to that example I just made earlier, let's say a woman feels like her husband doesn't listen to her enough, and then she meets someone, maybe a colleague or something, a friend, you know, gives her that attention that she feels like she's not getting enough of at home. Now, it can build the notion in her mind that, oh wow, my husband doesn't listen to me enough, but look at this person. This person is such a compassionate man. This person listens to me. You know, this person is so attentive. This person cares. Do you understand? But one thing that I've also come to realize is that it's just a facade. Okay, you don't live 24 hours with this person. You most likely thought that about your spouse. In fact, that's probably why you got married to them in the first place. You thought the world about them. You thought they were the best in this, the best in that. But then life happens, and then you get to experience them in all moods, all seasons, all times of the day, and then you find out that, oh, this perfect notion I had is not as perfect as I thought it was. So that's the same thing with attractions outside of marriage or a relationship. You look at someone and you think that, yes, this person is the complete embodiment of what I'm after. You know, this person is so this person is so that, but it's not true. Well, if maybe in another world, or someone who knows them really well were to sit down with you and tell you all their flaws, you will realize that nobody's perfect. Which leads me to my next point, that I'm also learning and realizing that when it comes to relationships, even relationships of any kind, but for the purpose of this conversation, romantic relationships, it takes patience. What you are, like, two people are going to have to continuously, and I think for the rest of their life, put in effort to make that relationship work. No relationship is perfect. Look, if you see people that it looks perfect for them, that's because they are putting in the work, and it's still, even then, it's still not perfect. So what makes it perfect for them are those moments of forgiveness, moments of patience, moments of communication. That's what keeps the train moving. That's the oil that keeps the engine rolling. Like, have a vision of what you want for your marriage, have a vision of what you want for your relationship, and be prepared to put in that effort. put in that effort. You know, the Bible says that no one plans to build a house without counting the cost of building that house. Even if you feel like, oh, I've communicated, I've been talking, you know, and this person doesn't want to listen to me, or this person is not doing this for me, this person is not doing that for me. Nobody is perfect. This person, this man, has been the way he is. Let's say you guys got married at 30. He has been the way he is for 30 good years, okay? So just because he got married to you, he's not now suddenly just going to change into this perfect person that you want him to be. I mean, even us as believers, we give our lives to Christ until the day we die. We are still being transformed into the image of Christ, okay? Then another thing that I'd like to talk about is check yourself, because you might be putting too much expectation on your partner. Sometimes we tend to have this romanticized idea of what we think our relationship should look like, maybe through what we see on social media, what we see from our friends. Look, realize that you're only getting whatever you see from other people, whatever you see on social media, whatever you see, even if it's from your friends or anything like that. Realize that you're only seeing 10 or 20% or 30% of the full picture. You are only seeing glimpses of what their relationship is like. You're not seeing the full picture. So check yourself. It may be that your expectations are unrealistic. Maybe let me just think of an example. Maybe let me say you want your husband to, let's say, listen to you. I'm sorry if I keep using that example. That's the only thing that keeps coming to mind. But let's say you want your husband to listen to you all the time. Like, anytime you're ready to talk, you know, you want him to listen to you, for example. Realize that may not be possible, like 100%. Yes, you can have that to an extent, to a very good extent, but it's not going to be possible like 100% of the time. Why? Because he has his own life, okay? He has his own issues, things that he's dealing with. There are times that he doesn't want to listen, he wants to talk. The point I'm just trying to make is, check your expectations. Are your expectations unrealistic? Are you putting too much pressure on your marriage, and then when you're not getting what you want, you feel like your marriage or your relationship is lacking in some way, and then you start finding yourself being tempted to look for it outside? So if that's the case, basically just, you know, look introspectively and then be honest with yourself. So the next thing that I want to talk about is tell your partner about prolonged feelings. So it's one thing for you to see someone cute or whatever, you know, I'm like, okay, this person, like, take note of them. And then it's another thing when those feelings start like prolonging and lasting, okay? So tell your partner about it. Sometimes we feel like, oh, if I tell this person the truth, like that's the end of the world, and in our bid to protect ourselves, we end up causing more damage and causing more harm. So honesty is the best policy. That's just the truth. And the thing about honesty is that even when you're being honest about something that's not so, it's not only when you're being honest about good things, like you're confessing your feelings, your emotions. When you're confessing something wrong that you've done, the thing about it is that it leads to greater intimacy at the end of the day, you know, like all things being equal. It usually leads to greater intimacy because at the end of the day, understanding is achieved, you know. By the time you walk through what happened that led to this and then you solve it, you guys feel more closer at the end of the day. So if you find that you're having prolonged feelings for somebody of the opposite sex, tell your partner. Sin thrives in secrecy. It thrives in darkness. Okay, so you need to expose it to the light. And then what telling your partner also does is that it also helps them to keep you accountable. It helps them to help you set proper boundaries. You know, it helps them to identify, okay, this is where you went wrong, this is why this is happening, because this wasn't there, this wasn't in place, and so on. So it basically helps them to keep you in check. But when you don't tell them, that's how the thing keep festering, keep growing, and before you know it, it gets out of proportion. So definitely tell your partner, because you don't want to give, you don't want the devil to use that as a foothold, you know, to start sowing seeds of emotional affairs and or physical affairs or things like that. The last thing that I'm going to say is set boundaries. One boundary that we have in our marriage, in my marriage, is that we try not to be alone with a member of the opposite sex, whether it's in a car, whether it's in a restaurant, like maybe an enclosed corner of a restaurant or something like that. Why? Because you don't want to give the impression that you're having a private moment with someone who is not your spouse. And then there's just something about privacy that gives room for other things to start popping up, okay? So you know yourself. The thing is that when it comes to boundaries, you just have to be honest with yourself. You know what works for you. You know the kind of person you are. You know what your flaws are. You know what you are most susceptible. You know what you are more prone to do. Let me just leave it at that. Okay, so you know yourself, so set boundaries. And the thing that I've observed from setting boundaries is that the boundaries that you set, okay, especially as a spouse, your partner has to be aware of that boundary and your partner has to be okay with that boundary. What do I mean? What may be a boundary to you may not be a boundary to your spouse. So let's say, for example, or what may be a boundary to your spouse may not be a boundary to you. Okay, so I think when setting boundaries, it's important for both parties to agree on them ahead, so that you not think that there's nothing wrong with talking for 5 hours with a man. Then your husband will be like, what do you mean? You know, like that's not okay by me. So the boundaries have to be agreed upon by both spouses, at least from what I've observed. So guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope this video was useful. You know, yes, thank you so much for listening. I hope you found this video useful. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I like to know what you think. I like to interact with you. So let me know your thoughts on this topic, on this conversation in the comment section. And I look forward to hearing from you. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Like it. If you look down, you see one that looks like this and one that looks like this. Please give it this one. And then subscribe if you haven't subscribed. What else? Yes, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye.